What's up, y'all? This is Corey. If you're new here, welcome to the OverLook. We narrate the books you may have overlooked. Today, we will be starting our coverage on the 2016 Black Panther series by Ta-Nehesi Coates, Brian Stelfreeze, and Laura Martin. For context, the African nation of Wakanda is the most technologically advanced society on the globe. It sits upon a large deposit of an extremely rare natural resource called vibranium. Wakanda long boasted of having never been conquered, but recent events, a biblical flood by Namor that killed thousands, a coup orchestrated by Dr. Doom, an invasion by the villain Thanos, have humbled the kingdom. T'Challa recently spent some time away from the throne. His sister, Shuri, had been ruling as both Queen and Black Panther in his absence, but she died defending Wakanda against Thanos' army. The people of Wakanda are now restless, and T'Challa has once again returned to the throne. But now, he is the Orphan King. He is the king who defied the blood of his ancestors. The king who defied his country. The king who lost his way. The king who lost his soul. And now, he stands and watches as horror unfolds. At the Great Mound, T'Challa came there to praise the heart of his country, the vibranium miners, for he is their king, and he loves them as a father loves his child. But among his children, all he found was hate. And so, there is war. The king kneels, wounded, amidst the chaos. His guards, members of the Wakandan army, fire wildly into a crowd of charging miners. Their aggression is needed, but result in the miners becoming even more enthralled. They lift their pickaxes, shovels, create makeshift weapons, and use their overwhelming numbers to their advantage. They call for the death of the tyrants. This hate did not rise on its own. Deceivers are loose in the king's kingdom. And so, the hate spreads, consuming the body of the nation, dividing the king from his very blood. And now, they call him Haramu Fall, the Orphan King. But he has not forgotten his name. Damisa Sarki, the Panther. His name is his nature. The king can track a body through the wind and rain, for he tracks not the body, but the soul within. But the deceiver's scent has gone stale. Her power fades, and the king must call his soldiers back. The army cannot massacre their own people. No, the king must now reckon with what is loose in his country. Her hate fades, and they must now reckon with what they have done to their own blood. Elsewhere, within the Golden City, the capital of Wakanda, Io of the Dora Milaje attempts to reason with the Queen Mother. The Queen Mother must know there are no assassins among the Dora Milaje. The Dora Milaje are a nation. Their forces are drawn from all the tribes and forged into a singular emblem of the country. They are the blood alloy of Wakanda itself. None know this more than Anika, their captain, the Queen Mother's prisoner. Anika would die for the future of Wakanda. She would die for their king. She would die for their queen. But Wakanda is in chaos. Roads are infested with robberies. Farmers are cut down in their own fields. Villainy rules. Justice is a slave. The Queen Mother's daughter, Shuri, their queen, has vanished. Their returned king rules from a shaky throne. The house has fallen. No one is coming to save them, and so they must save themselves. The small device on Io's wrist, the Kimoyo band, tells the tale. The chieftain's outrage upon the girls of his village were known, yet his lechery was unstoppable. Anika spoke to him as fathers and brothers should have spoken before. And when she was not heeded, she did as the honor of Wakandan brothers has always demanded. Anika stood against the jackals who lay in wait, and for this, she is branded a murderer who must give her life. Io pleads to the Queen Mother to spare Anika from the bastard sanction of men whose honor is ostentation, whose justice is deceit. The Queen Mother refuses. They are the Dora Milaje, champions of their nation, celebrated in fables and songs. But now, Io stands before her, a shield maiden in peasant's clothes, pleading for some other standard. Io said it herself. Villainy overwhelms them. And her answer to this villainy is to turn the upholders of Wakandan law into its flouters. The Queen Mother refuses. The Dora Milaje are exemplars of their nation, and if they will not serve in life, they will serve in death. The Queen Mother takes no joy in doing her duty, but she will do it, even as others falter. For the life of her son, T'Challa's mother gave up her own life. For the life of his nation, T'Challa's father did the same. Ramonda, his father's second wife and widow, is as much his mother now as the mother who died for him. The king returns to the Golden City just as Io is escorted out of the palace. The king informs Ramonda of the happenings at the Great Mound. He appealed to the people to work, that in these times Wakanda needs them more than ever. However, the people did not hear the king. The people were listening to someone else. The king saw her, the one who drew out this hate. She turned the king's army against his own people. For fear of more lives lost, he let her go. But he will find her, and he will kill her for this. Ramonda, the Queen Mother, cannot help but wonder what good can come from more death. Today, Ramonda upheld the execution of one of their own adored ones. It was her duty, and she would do it again. But she is not blind to what this means. Wakanda is in strife. Invasion, flood, infiltration, regicide. The Queen Mother, however, sees some larger work in their troubles. They have had so much of them of late. Is the smoke not blinding them to the fire? The king instead focuses on the woman who drew out the hate in his people. The woman in green. She is the source. He saw the fire right there, in her eyes, right when she turned innocent men against their country. The Queen Mother warns the king not to lose himself. He is not a soldier, and it is not enough to be the sword. He must be the intelligence behind it. Meanwhile, around the Ngandan border region, the woman in green, Zenzi, recollects her previous encounter with the king. She saw an agony in the people at the Great Mound, an agony so complete that it eclipsed everything. Their duty to their country, their king, even each other. Agony over all. Humiliation, sadness, all agony. And then, under the agony, she saw something else. Rage. Zenzi looks up and sees a man standing before her, Tetu. And Tetu asks Zenzi if it was her who encouraged this rage. She admits that she did not. She only revealed to them, in all of their agony, their deeper, truer selves. She gave them a gift. She encouraged nothing, for she came to Wakanda not as an exhorter, but as a liberator. Tetu asks if the people of Wakanda still fear the Panther, if they still hate their Orphan King. Zenzi responds, the people have learned that there are greater agonies than the king's wrath. The Golden City was breached. Their children were drowned and burned, and the Panther could not shield them. The people do not hate their king. They are ashamed of him. But out of the rage shall come another Wakanda, and a better and brighter world. Elsewhere, Anika, the former leader of the Dora Milaje, is being held within the prison cells of Fort Han. Within her empty cell, she is left to her own devices. She spends her evening meditating and practicing her fighting techniques. It brings her peace of mind. But suddenly, Anika hears a rumbling in the distance, and then an explosion, and then the guards howling in terror. And then someone, a woman in blue armor, arrives with a scepter in hand. She uses the scepter as a weapon to blow a hole into the wall which separates her from Anika. Anika warns the woman to reconsider her actions, to not throw her whole life away. This small moment allows the prison guards time to regain their composure, lift their scepters, and target the woman with a combined energy attack. Anika pushes the woman in blue armor out of the way and takes the brunt of the attack, rendering her unconscious. The woman in the blue armor sees this and becomes enraged. She reveals herself to be Io, and Io uses her anger to fuel her clearing of the prison. Her skills and training learned from the Dora Milaje, paired with this new mysterious armor, proves to be too much for the underpowered prison guards. Then, when she's finished, she lifts up Anika and flies away, leaving the destruction behind. Later, Anika wakes up outside the Golden City, next to a roaring campfire, and Io. Io explains that she tried to plead Anika's case to the Queen Mother, but the Queen Mother did not listen, so Io doesn't care if she's sentenced to death as well. They were going to kill both her and Anika anyway. When they condemned Anika, they condemned her as well. Moreover, a part of Io is already dead. The part of her that was Dora Milaje. The part of her that once lived for their king. Wakanda is falling. Not even the Panther can save them. Does the king even care? Did he ever care? Even then, does it matter? Has it ever mattered? Anika stands to her feet, walks over to, and examines Io's new armor. It is the new Midnight Angel prototype, and there's a second one lying right beside it. Anika tells Io that if they are going to die, she shall speak as her dead self, and they will act as dead women should. She is tired of living and dying on the blood right of one man. No one man should have that much power. Elsewhere, the king descends the stairs to the necropolis. He does not speak to the citizens. For them, he is nowhere to be found. Instead, the people of Wakanda hear the news of the protest at the Great Mound from those who would benefit from it. Instead, the king ventures to the city of the dead, burial site of the previous Black Panthers. The king removes himself from the world to a secret laboratory hidden away. The king works at his computer, running test after test, and every test is met with failure. How long must the king be divided from his own people, from his own country, from his own blood? And how long must the king be departed from his sister?